If it is, hey everybody. So then in order for this to actually go live, what would we have had to do?
I don't know. I think at the end it says publish. It gives you a button to publish is what I think.
Okay, all right.
So because I was actually looking up some info about this and
yeah, because I'm on Substack now and I'm not seeing Jenno and Donna Duffy are having a call. No,
yeah. But honestly, have you ever done that with I remember doing that with Facebook Lives early in the day and thinking I wasn't on. And I met my son texting me and going, you're live, don't you? And I'm like, no.
Oh, I will tell you what. I thought I was jabbering away to my Facebook group once until I saw my friend from a guy. It was an all-women group. Like, why is he commenting? And then I realized I never went in the group. I'm in my main room. I'm like, what am I doing in here?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's okay.
We have to just move forward, and that's the thing. I don't care. And they change.
I know, right?
Nobody knows what the heck they're doing, so we're just going to figure it out as we go.
Right.
And I was excited to jump on here with you today.
Yeah, thank you. And you saw my post this morning. I'm a rookie and a vet. I'm like, hey, I'm figuring it out. And I think that's the thing about it too, is just everybody's kind of learning on speaker.
Yes.
Which is fun. I think the fun part, and I think Julie wrote it this morning about, and I had written this a little while ago myself somewhere, we're not all sitting at the feet of we're kind of just, hey, shoulder to shoulder, let's figure this out.
No more gurus. That's
no
not
more gurus. Yeah.
That's the end of that era. That's the end of that energy. And the divine feminine energy is coming in, the age of Aquarius. That's exactly what's happening, is that we're coming back to our inner authority. And instead of thinking that everybody outside of us, has the answers for us, it's back to critical thinking. It's back to thinking, wait, what if what do I want? I just had a client of mine was leaving me a Voxer just before we got on, and she was struggling with she has an Airbnb as a business, and she's in Europe right now showcasing some beautiful art and things, and
wow.
So struggles she had going on, and about not being able to say no to people that want to stay at her Airbnb. And just feeling guilty about it. And I'm like, I can relate to that, but where does this come from? It's like, but what if you stop and say to yourself, what do I want to do? And sometimes people are like, I don't know. I don't trust myself to make the decisions. And I think that's just a result of the old era, the conditioning, and we're not there. You're right. We're not we're
not there. And that whole good girl thing, and that, am I good enough? And, I was in therapy years ago. My family lived overseas and we came back, and, we just needed some guidance and stuff. And as a yes girl, I felt like I really hadn't been drawing boundary lines strongly enough on certain things for my family and different things like that. And the woman said to me, just because someone throws a ball at you, you don't have to catch it. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? She's like, put your hand down. It's going to sail right by. I was like, what? Yes. I couldn't even imagine, because I was so conditioned. Like, yes, absolutely. Why not? Of course. That when I said no, that it would be okay. And then when I got back there and started to put this into practice, like the first time, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that. Like, okay, people didn't abandon me, but like, oh, okay. Well, that was how easy that could have been the whole ride. But I had made it a thing that I had to say yes, everything, everything. Yeah. And I think we've woken up to the fact that that's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for the other person. It doesn't serve us well.
Yeah.
And we're getting brave, to say, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me.
Right. I mean, it just was the energy of the day, and it has been, and we are waking up, and collective consciousness is now waking up even at a more rapid rate right now, and understanding that no is a complete sentence, and learning to say no. And and sometimes we still recoil because our nervous system is still remembering, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say no because I have to, put everybody else before my own desires. It's like, no, we really do need to fill our cup up. We really do need to put the oxygen mask on if we want to serve from our highest place and be the best person and get our mission out in the best possible way. But we come by it honestly, like we do, right? And so and where you and I at midlife and where we are we're at an interesting stage of it. I still see it in the 20-year-olds. I still see it in the 30-year-olds, but it's becoming less and less. Do you think so?
Yeah, and I think as people release their grip on that, that's an important thing. And I think there's something about being other-centric. Oh, I lost you there for a second. Something about being other-centric without losing ourselves. Yeah. So there's this scripture, I'm going to come back to this, right? So it's, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. So we've got the love your neighbor part down. Do we have the love yourself part down? And we can't let that then be the whole thing either. So the balance of love your neighbor as yourself is really important, because are we loving others as ourselves? Sometimes we're loving others more than we're loving ourselves.
Exactly.
And that then needs a check. And this is, I think, I'm my sister's keeper, where I would say, like, hey, what about that? And be brave enough to hold on to one another and say, are you taking care of you? Are you taking care of you? And sometimes it's the simple things, like there's the front facing us, but then there's the girl behind the scenes who, did she get enough sleep? Did she drink enough water? Did she get enough? There are things that we need, especially as we age, I think, sometimes. And that's why I wrote that post today. Sometimes, like, oh, I think I should be farther along by now. I'm where I am.
Yes.
I'm where I am. Like, where you are is square one, and just be totally cool with it.
How long did it take you to embody that? I mean, I'm with you, and I hear this in my coaching a lot, and I'm coaching women, younger than me in a lot of cases, or around my age, but even in their early 50s. And I hear it all the time. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm like, that's because we're living the should life. Let's talk about this.
Yes, that's so your thing. And I think that is such an important message, and even, the whole thing, just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Yeah, right.
That's the other conditioned thing, that, well, you were the one, so therefore, that doesn't mean like till my last breath.
No.
I'm not a tree. I can get up and move and change, right? Yeah. And I think that's the good part about that, is to be able to and cheer one another on like this. Like, hey, look at us with our training wheels on, and maybe we'll fall over, then we'll get our bike back up, and we're going to keep driving. Like, we don't want anyone to see that part of us. We don't want anyone to see us between the trapezes. We don't want anyone to see us in process. But if we don't pull back the curtain for process, we rob other people of thinking, so that, look how easy this was.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something to that, of being willing to say, we'll go first. We'll give it a try. Yeah. We'll jump in the pool. We'll see how it is. Like, come on in. It's not that bad. It's like, look how easy.
I mean, when I see other people do it, I breathe a sigh of relief. Yes. When I see transparency from other people, and I used to believe, maybe like you as well, that I saw all these polished, successful, they've got it all together. And now that I'm at the age of the stage that I'm at, I'm like, nobody's got it all together. Mm-hmm. And if we think we do, then the next stage is coming, and we're meant to grow and evolve and become. And I just was listening to somebody also talk about, and I loved it, because it's just like, nobody talks about how, as we grow, I mean, in this arena of growth and transformation that we live our lives in, you and I, and a lot of people, right, in our world, that it's sometimes, as you move and evolve and up level, or whatever we want to call it, it feels like we're standing there naked on the street.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, 100%. Yes.
Before we embody, but that is the process.
That's totally it. I mean, I have to laugh when I learned Arabic. Oh my gosh, my neighbors they still would tell me these stories to this day. The words, I confused the words responsibility and diarrhea. So basically I'm asking, like, instead of like, who's in charge? Who has diarrhea here? Oh, they were in peals of laughter. The little children would be cracking up on, I was in my 30s, I think I was my late 30s learning Arabic.
Yeah.
And mid 30s, late 30s. Eventually, you know, that became, I dreamt in Arabic. I thought in Arabic all day. One of the best compliments I could get was when I served my coffee and welcomed everyone. You're such an Arab. Like that was, I had kind of, you know, my language was there, my yes. And, but in the process, it was agonizing for everyone who was willing to like get me through that. And later, when people are like, oh, wow, how did you learn Arabic? My neighbors would say, we taught her. We taught her.
So
right?
proud.
It was their badge of honor, you know. And when I did my TEDx talk, it was for, you know, lessons I learned in an Arabic neighborhood. I'm shouting all of them out. Why? Because they ushered me through that. And then they saw me on the other side of that. And they were so proud. But we can be doing that for one another. We can say, look, we gave it a shot. It was, wow, that was pretty easy. You know, I thought it would be harder than that. We're still learning. We're getting our legs under us. That's okay to say. And I think if we're brave enough to pull back the curtain and show that, then other women can say, you know, I'm gonna give that a shot. Yes. That's why I love going live on Facebook. So Facebook, I would have some scribbly little notes, Facebook Live. And you know, you're on Facebook Live and it's you and you.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. I wasn't waiting like, I'm going to see if anybody comes on. I would have been waiting for half an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So I just went live and it developed, like as I did it, I felt more confident and stronger. I was then looking at women like, oh my gosh, how do you record videos and get that so polished? Because I was so just talking.
But I love that. See, to me, I think for a lot of us, like that's the honest transparency. And that's the, I'm like, don't, if you look too polished, you know, I mean, plus we're not in our 20s it's like the influencer. It's like, ooh, look at me. Do I have enough contouring? You know, even is that?
Do it.
I can't do it. You know, but there's still that, you know, we still have the remember, you know, 95% of our life is created by our subconscious beliefs. And we've got these strong tethered beliefs that are like, you know, and, or, you know, our inner critic or our, you know, the ego part of ourself that's trying to keep us safe. One of my clients has named it Leonardo, and we're always like, what's Leonardo telling us? Not, you know, I'm going to go live today. We're going to do this, you know, what if you mess up? What if you can't do it?
And you know what? So what?
And
that's the fun. And
aren't we at the age where we really can let our hair down? And I find myself laughing sometimes when I trigger into old, you know, concerned about other people's beliefs about me or fear of making a mistake or, you know, how am I going to look? It doesn't happen that often anymore, but it definitely still happens because we're human.
We're human.
But I'm like, how old? What? No.
I know.
Stand in your power. Stand in our power. Like, who are the people that inspire you and me? For me, it's people that are going out there doing it messy and showing up.
That's right. I mean, and I remember praying about this when I first went on Facebook. I was like, why am I so shaking in my boots? And I realized, oh, I'm in my own head. And it was like, well, what can I do differently? And it came into my conscious, like, thoughts, just love them. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Yes. And then I just forgot it. Like I would show up like, hey, and I call the women in my group sages, like, hey, sages, what's going on? And then I could just talk.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't trying to perform.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the performative piece is what I think we've been trained to do.
Yes.
So when we had our downtown business, we had a videographer come in. I had all the change the clothes, to change the jewelry. He did the you know, the graphics. That I never got near the views on those that I got on my Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
So there's something about us, you know, we feel like we can pull, you know, like sit across the table from one another and just have a conversation.
That's the whole thing. It's what I know it's what I'm all about. It's literally the kitchen table thing. It's like,
it is.
let's
Totally.
just Let's just chat. Let's just hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's taken me a long time to be able to allow myself to do that, because we've been, it's been achievement mode. It's been performance, like you say, it's been really about, and we have been conditioned to, perform and show up the way others think you should.
Yes,
And then we're people pleaser good girls. So we want to please the people, right?
yes, yes. And those of us who are firstborns can be ridiculous about this. Like that whole eldest daughter, big sister, spinner stops at me, I'll do it, I'll take care of it. I think there's part of that too that then becomes almost automatic. We haven't even paused long enough to let it kind of adjust within us. Is this even something I'm meant for?
Right.
And I think that's the other part of why we start like being willing to jettison work that doesn't belong to us.
Yeah.
Now I'm willing to say, oh no, I'm not your girl for that. Jen, she's the expert on that thing. And that says as much about me as me saying something about you, because I'm not trying to take it to myself on something I have no business.
Yes.
Embracing. It's not mine to do. It's not my work.
Right. And it is like, it's like a paradoxical, is that the right word? The thing where it's like we're focused on ourselves, and we think when we're so focused on the mistakes that we may make, or how we may show up in public, and how, it's this inner focus on ourselves which is all self-absorption, right?
It is.
And like you said, when it dropped into you when you were doing the Facebook Live, that you're just like, wait, let me just love them. Okay.
Big sigh of relief. Yes. If you were coming for coffee, would I be twisting in my shoes like, oh my gosh, Jen's coming? No, I'd be like, how do you take your coffee? Right. And we would just drink coffee and talk. Yes. And I think the more we're willing to let our hair down like that,
yes.
This is why I love Substack, because you know what? The guru kind of hierarchy, if you think like we're coming in here like this, I can see the number of women I followed for years who are new to Substack. They're as much a rookie and a vet as we are.
Yes.
And that's the refreshing piece that people are, right? So people are coming in here and they're like, I don't know, like, do you click here? Do you click here? Oh, look, that worked. Hey, like, you have my volume? No, you're on mute. We're figuring it out, but so are they.
Yep.
So are they. And then, the proximity and accessibility is not like,
Yep.
You're right
yep.
here.
The gap closes. Yep.
The gap closes. Absolutely. And then we kind of like level the field a little bit. And here's the thing, like, we're all leaders. We all have strengths. You've got different strengths than I do. We fill each other's gaps.
Yes.
That then becomes a very welcoming community to be a part of. We are so relieved that it finally is more aligned to how we really want to live and be.
Yes.
And that then everybody's just like, come on in here, get in here. Like, this
take
is
a seat at the kitchen table with us.
Yes.
We're here to collaborate, not to compete. We're here to, and we're human, and sometimes certain energies and certain people are gonna, but that's just a sign for us to be like, what's not healed yet in me? Wait, what do I get to heal right now? Like what?
Yeah.
Because it's
sometimes, and I'm not saying like the work you've done is the work you've done, and it deserves to be honored as such.
Yes.
Right. So to me, that legacy work you have over the years crafted, mastered, apprenticed your way there still needs guarded.
Yes.
It still needs protected. Yeah. Right. That's not just like, no, you did that. And that's to be honored, and that's to be cherished for what it is.
Yes.
Held in a sacred space, because you didn't get that like a fly by night. No, this came over years, and sometimes felt like you're crawling over glass and you want to give up, and you stayed, and all the things. So when that's there, we need to honor that for each other.
Yeah.
While we say, how can we share? How can we collaborate? How can we partner? How can we strategize without us like just disappearing, going invisible, muting out?
Right.
Each voice, each strength has to be honored for what it is. To me, that's what makes this so wonderful.
Yes.
Is, it doesn't get homogenized.
Right.
no, this is where your distinctive still stands so strong for what it is, for what you've achieved and gathered through the years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's legacy work, and it needs to be
It,
honored as such.
I agree with you on, I mean, yes, to the core, every fiber of my being is where
Mm,
we are here. And that's why, you know, instead of I take a pause at the word reinvention,
right.
because I like to talk about evolving. You know,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
evolving, and I don't, and maybe we wind up down a path that is new to us, but it's not completely new, because we're
no,
taking all the sage wisdom that
right.
we can only learn through time. It
That's
can't
right.
be, we can't put it in a pressure cooker to
Mm-mm,
become this brilliance of who we are here and now. It's
that's
the,
right.
and I love to remember that. And I love to also be a voice just like you, to help other people, men. The screen goes dark on
Yeah, the
me.
screen goes dark. It's done that for me about 3 times now. It
Oh,
just kind of, I don't know, maybe like it sits and it needs a little. I just shake my mouse and it comes right back.
yeah, yeah, came back. Yeah, but we, what was I saying?
Well, you were saying even men, even
We're here. Yeah, I've lost that train of thought, and I'm allowed to do that.
yeah.
There's
Listen, you are so much. If you could see the number of sticky notes sitting around me, you'd crack up.
the,
Like, here's one. If it's important, it's kind of like a slap me silly pink. It's like I got things all around because I was like, wait, what? What? No, and
I
I
know.
tell my kids, they're like, you don't remember stuff. I'm like, enjoy your youth. It's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah. No, it's
It's
okay.
coming
We're not,
for you too.
we're not, but that's the thing. I want to stand at the mountaintops, and I want to honor, um, and yeah, I think it stinks, you know, sometimes, like how midlife women and older women, it's just sort of like, oh, okay, your
Mm,
youth is over, like go out to pasture. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
I'm not standing for that. You're not
no,
standing for that. No, are you kidding? Like we have, I was meeting, I ran into a friend of mine that like moved out of state, and I ran into him in a Starbucks like a couple months ago. And our kids went to school together growing up. Lovely, awesome guy. And he's a blog writer, and he's a
mm,
writer, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, and I had time to sit. So I sat down, and he's writing he's writing about aging and
wow,
retirement. And I was telling him, you know, what I was doing. I'm like,
yeah,
rewirement, not retirement, you know,
yeah, I
things.
love that.
And he said, don't you think, and this was, he said, you know, don't you think that we haven't, I don't know if he used the word obligation or not, but it was, he said, don't you think we have an obligation to bring our wisdom
Mm,
to the youth, whether they think they need it or whether they, but it's the legacy of what gets,
it
you know, the
is
stories that people used to tell, you know, back in the days, and that get
right.
passed down. And I think, as I'm talking right now, like more than ever with this disconnected virtual age,
Mm,
like more than ever, like and the things that we've integrated that we sometimes don't even think twice about as being anything important anymore, because the
mm,
human
right.
body, they're into, those are what we're here to teach.
They are, they are,
Nobody
and
can
to
teach
me,
you that when you're
this
20.
this to me is, you've got the birthright of your gifts, you've got the birth responsibility. That's
Yes.
what I
Yeah.
call it. Your birth responsibility is then it was given to you in whatever package and in
Yes.
whatever, it's not only the excellence you achieved, but you went through some hard times.
Yeah.
Even those hard times cultivated character in you and they forged things in you. So to me, that whole combo is, you're only the only one who can bring that just like that. And that's the
100%.
responsibility I think that we bring back
Yeah.
to our respective communities. Maybe back in the day I was sitting in a neighborhood in Nazareth, Israel, and today I'm sitting in Bethany Beach, Delaware. But you know, each season and each stage, as we know that season and we embrace it for what it is, we can then, like, who when we look up who's in that circle, who are we meant to share that with,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not hold our cards. And the other part is not be afraid to stand for something. That's kind of
Yep.
on the that's where I am right now. Just, being able to stand for things
Yeah.
and stand in things without apology.
Yes.
Guess what? We're here for 5 minutes relatively, the
Yes.
message we're meant to bring should not die with us. It should have been like fully expressed
Yes.
till the wheels fall off kind of thing.
Absolutely. And it, yeah, and the gift of the age of, is absolutely giving ourselves that permission to not perform anymore and
Yes.
to speak our own perfect self-expression, however that's to be, whether we write, whether we,
Right.
have our kitchen table conversations on Substack, whatever the case may be. And
Yeah.
it is our birthright, and it is our birth responsibility. I really
Mhm.
like the birth. I
Thank
like,
you. Yeah, I've been sharing it like that for years, and that has helped me to keep coming back because we veer off and we pick up things and think they're ours to do. And then when we question, like, what's in my hand here, go with what you have in your hand. Is this mine?
mhm, mhm,
Or is it actually yours?
mhm, mhm.
And, you know, now we can share that. I can say, could you take this baton for me and run the rest of the way with it? Like,
Yeah.
I think the freedom to not have to be all things, to
Yes.
not have to, because otherwise it's so exhausting to
Totally.
be the performative one, to be the one who's got to have all the answers. It's so freeing to be like, actually, I'm not sure about that. I'm
Mm.
gonna look that up. I'll get back to you, rather than thinking I've got to like pontificate on everything. No, I don't. And I would rather say I don't know than
Yeah.
stand solidly in something I don't fully know.
And don't
Or
you
be dogmatic about it, right? So
Right, right, and don't you think, or do that it's a bit, there's a bit of I don't know if the word arrogance is the right word, but that's, I sometimes feel, I'm like, "Oh my God, who am I to think that," and I know you don't know much about human design, but a lot of this I'm learning has a lot to do. I have a design where, people project onto me, and I've always wondered my whole life, why does everybody think that I
mm,
can do it all? And then I
mm,
would feel paralyzed by my fear if I thought I was going to fail, and I
yeah,
would not show up for certain tests at school, or I would not show up, and people would believe in me and put it all on me.
yes.
And it was such a burden to carry
Mm,
when I thought I wasn't going to meet the mark, and what the stories I told about myself, and how I tried to hide myself. And, but hiding yourself, it doesn't matter. The projection
mm,
still comes.
yeah, sure.
Learning and growing into, but I love, this is a conversation that I love. And
Mm,
sometimes I have felt like, who needs to hear this message? Everybody knows what I know. Like,
mm,
who am I? Like, why do I have anything? And I hear almost, if not all, the women I coach, like, what's special about, I'm like, everything
yeah,
is special about you. And
absolutely.
you and I are talking about something that, maybe because we're in the world of this, that we
Yeah.
have these kind of conversations, but do you think most people are having these conversations?
I don't think they are. I
I
think
don't.
I think sometimes people are reluctant to voice, first of all. They're reluctant to say out loud, what about? Because either no one's going to receive what they have to say. They'll
Yeah.
be dismissive to what they have to say.
Yeah.
They'll downplay it. And I'm around women who have had that kind of thing in their lives where, you know, someone has downplayed their work and undervalued who they were, and the climb back to value themselves is really it can be really very taxing. But this is, I think, to what you said, like, what's so amazing about you? Yeah, that would be everything, right?
Mhm.
For us to keep saying to one another, you know, even with all the flaws, all the things. That's why I love The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. If you've not
Yes.
read
Yeah.
that book,
Yeah.
that is so brilliant,
Yeah.
because you're coming flaws and all. And I
Yes.
love the verse, we have this treasure in a jar of clay. Like,
Mm.
I love that
Mm.
because that allows me to be the human that I am, right? And still this is coming. The
Mm.
light we talked about, not hiding under the bushel. Now
Yeah.
that's coming through me, flaws and all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
when we try to project perfectionism that I
Mm.
think the thing gets phenomenally
Oh
exhausting.
my gosh.
Phenomenally exhausting. It's not sustainable.
No, and guess what? It's no fun for anybody to be
At all.
around.
At all. And I think that's why when we're older, we're like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I can't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. And
Yeah.
that's just then we're like,
Yes.
what do you feel like? A real sass pants? Like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But
Yeah.
wow, imagine had we done that in our 30s, how
Right.
life would have been
Right.
different if we had been brave enough to be like, nah, that's
Yep.
not for me. No, I'm
I
gonna pass on that.
yeah, and I know you've done a lot of. I know you were the president of NABO, right? And
Nabo, yeah,
NABO,
Nabo in
yeah. I mean, so
Delaware.
and I did a lot of networking, back in the day for a couple decades. And I remember though, the first time I had I must have just read a book or had a, who knows, like had a coaching session. It was like, okay, I'm going to stand in my power. And I was at somebody's event who was speaking, and I was losing my mind. I didn't like the energy. It was condescending. I felt that and I'm just feeling myself contract. And I'm like, okay, that's the signal. That's the signal. And then I'm like, wait, I don't have to stay. But no, it's going to be rude. But you can't leave. How can you leave? You have to wait. You have to wait. I'm like, so I'm having this inner conversation going on. And I remember, I can picture where I was sitting, and of course, I never want to be rude, and I always want to be kind, right? But I'd like to be kind to myself and honor myself. So this was one of the first moments that I can recall actually doing this. And I got up. And I quietly, there was a good time, a break of some kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to sneak out. I'm just going to go. And I walked out and I got in my car and I'm like, oh, yeah.
So freeing. Oh my gosh.
And it felt so good. And you know what? Me sitting there in a should state and in a, oh, I have to be the good girl, do you think that throws any good energy for the speaker, or it's like, we weren't in alignment. This wasn't a fit for me. And I was able to leave gracefully. So, sometimes it's not always that, able to, but that was an empowering moment for me.
I bet it was. And I think I forget who wrote this. I just saw this flying around on Substack. I'm not for everybody.
I did.
Was that you?
Yes.
I was like, yes, and I didn't read the whole article. I'm like, I need to go back and read that. I hope it's okay that it's out there for everybody.
Yes, it is. I published it
anywhere. But
yep,
that is so true. To be able to say, self-select toward me if I'm for you. If I'm not for you, I wish you all the best. And it's okay. You go in peace and go do your thing. Yes. Because not trying to, what's that book? The Courage to be Disliked.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yes.
Because that's part of the good girl, nice girl, kind girl. We want to be liked.
Right.
And I think these things aren't going to fit together. If I need to be liked for everybody,
then
I'm going to be too nice, and I'm going to be too vanilla, and I'm not going to be able to call in the people I'm most meant for.
No.
And I think the more we're willing to say no to that and no to that, and go ahead and wish the person well as they go, because they're not meant for us, that is a brave moment. Like, we need to really. So thank you for writing that. I really appreciate it. I will go read every word.
I love that so much. And
didn't write that. I think Jen wrote that, and I thought, I'm not gonna, maybe she didn't, but I thought it was you. So that sounds like something you write.
I'm not for everybody, and neither are you. And the thing I want to touch on something you just said about not disparaging. And I just had a conversation with my sister earlier on the phone today. Lives in Atlanta, and that this whole it's learning to step into understanding that every single person is on their own journey. And we're not going to understand everybody's journey, nor is it for us to, nor is it for them to understand ours. But it goes back to self-love. It goes back to compassion for ourselves. When we don't have that, it's not possible to give genuine love and compassion back to other people. And so we tend to get into blaming or victim or lack or scarcity, because it makes us feel better about ourselves, or And when we stand at a place when where you can honestly understand, and this is what makes, sometimes I get frustrated with people I love and people I care about, because I see paths that I don't think are in their best interest or seem clearly not to be.
Mm.
But it's not my job anymore. I can still love them and I can still respect their journey, no matter how challenging I think it is, right? And it's the same for me with coaching. Now, some people think like that you're here to solve everybody's problem. I'm not here to solve anything.
No.
We're going to explore. We're going to jump in the water. We're going to like coach. But it's such an incredible thing. And I was telling my sister, because she was going through a little bit of a just talking about something that was frustrating. I said, this grounds me all the time because we care so much about people, right? And when I remember, and I have to talk myself sometimes off my ledge and get back into remembering this, like, wait a second, who am I to disrespect this journey or feel like I have all the answers for this person? That's also a third dimensional, logical energy of just like, well, I'm going to tell you how to live your life. I'm going to tell you how to, no. Connection, collaborate, like we talked about at the beginning of this, community, collaboration, coming together, holding the space for people. And then also understanding that it's up to us to have the boundaries to allow people, where to allow people in our front row, second row, third row, or way back row. It's up to us.
That's right.
But you don't have to be rude or discompassionate, or right. I mean, it's
and then even just to say, someone might invite you to something and you don't belong in that room, and then to say, no, I'm going to bow out for that. Thank you so much for the invite, but that's not going to work for me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, that doesn't align with where I am in my right now, or that doesn't align with even with my beliefs.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yes.
And I think the whole thing of giving offense, we're more willing to offend ourselves and to like crunch down so much of what we would hold true for the sake of not offending. In the end, it's self-preservation, right?
Yes.
Part of that is self-preservation because we're really kind of guarding ourselves from the response.
Absolutely.
We're guarding ourselves from the response. But in truth, if we're really, we're really trying to like live fully into this and then align with those we're meant for, we will do everybody, we'll do a disservice if we're saying yes when we mean no.
Yeah.
If we're trying to short circuit someone's growth trajectory.
Yeah.
Right. And we can, even if we see that there's some like danger, warning, enemy approaching, like we see there's things down the street that could be, we can share out of love and concern. But I think too often we take on ourselves this kind of like hero persona or whatever. I got to fix it. And again, that's a very, just women do this. We tend to be
very old era as they were getting out of it.
Yeah. And we are learning to call ourselves out on that, call one another out on that, and then step away from the rooms we're not meant for the people we're not meant for, the events we're not meant for. And I think this is why the internet, I think at times has really cost people so much. We're running after this course and that thing and that shiny and that and one more course and one more thing and
oh my God, yes.
Right. And someone wrote this, I saw it like on Instagram or something, like, are you hiding behind your healing? Like I need one more course, I need one more thing, I need one more thing. And in the end, like where you are, square one, go, like just go. And I think the part of it is the whole staircase. Even if you think you see the staircase, no, you don't.
No,
you really don't. Like you don't really know what's down the street and around the corner, even if you've got the 5-year plan.
Yeah. But we live in this conditioning of that you should have a 5-year plan and don't be an artist because you could never make money. So go be the doctor and the lawyer. Who cares? And then you wind up just like, I hate this. I want to do that. And then things fall apart. And who knows? it's learning to be in the present moment, trust the here and I'm not saying that it's easy, and it's not that we weren't taught this. We were taught to
No, we weren't.
be responsible, which means X, Y, and Z to, different things, and meanwhile, our inside, we're just like, there's a part of us inside of us, like craving to climb out and just be like, color outside the lines, try it. And so, but we're trying to please our parents, and then we're trying to please society, and then we're trying to, and then God forbid you're the one that actually has the courage, or just for you don't even have a bone in your body that can even fake it. Like, you are being you, and society is saying, you're the black sheep, right?
Right.
People that have the guts, because they have no other, it's who they're like, I cannot be who I'm not. Yet they're, then they face backlash in a society where you're not conforming into, but this is all changing. This is all shifting.
It really is. It really is. Have you read A Whole New Mind by Daniel Pink?
No, I have a couple books by him, but not that one.
Oh, it's basically the right brainers are going to be the ones who drive the car.
And I'm left-handed, so
this is on a paraphrase, but basically the creatives and the right brainers, we have so been kind of conditioned by linear thinking, by left brain thinking, and trying to fit inside these molds that, we get to a place where, the right brain, the creative, we're seeing far more of a welcome, far more receptivity to that kind of thinking, and being okay to blur the lines a little bit and color outside the lines and figure it out. I always say the magic is in the margin. So I've said this for years. Like, the mainstream is where everybody else is, and it's kind of blue ocean strategy thinking. It's here's where everyone is, but then here's the margin, and the margin is really the truest place you can be. And I think that's, rather than trying to be like everyone and do like everyone, how can I do like I'm wired for, I'm meant for, who I'm meant for?
Right.
I think the other part of that is we've had this thing about numbers, like empires and building and numbers. We talked about this on our last call, but I think sometimes if we were to look at it, if people responded and you got 50 responses and everybody put their hand up at the same time, could you handle it? We don't need a lot for it to be an amazing payday.
Right.
And I think the older we get, what is the actual payday? We're not only going to count the dollars, we're counting how soulful is that?
Right.
What actually transpired between us. Those things are wealth in themselves.
I was just going to say exactly that we look at abundance in different ways, and it has much less to do with performing money in the bank. It's what's filling our soul. All of a sudden we can, I don't know. I guess as we get older, we get closer to hearing our souls, who's never left us.
Like, we're going back to when we were little kids and we were, that kind of childlike mind, and we go back to that. I think one of the things that we did a disservice to our kids was not helping them discover their gifts early enough and go in that direction, because we were sending them through this approach,
fear-based societal way, fear-based.
Yeah. And so now I think as you age too, as we age, we're more willing to try those things, to put our hand to it, to fall down, get up, and show other people, like, see, like, I'm still breathing, I'm still here, I'm still good, and I we say, like, youth is, wasted on the young. Like, if we knew then what we know now, but we had to run the course.
It wasn't meant to be that way.
We had to run the paces.
Do you have a lot of regrets? Because I don't. I feel like everything has been the way it's supposed to be. The tragedies, the triumphs, the path, the timing, and I haven't, there's moments of like, where I felt all of it, and all of it. But yeah, do you have like?
No, I mean, I look, and just kind of how I look at things through the lens of faith. I look at things like, this is a tapestry.
Yeah,
Nothing's wasted.
Yes.
these are threads woven in
Yes.
that have, you know, what would you say, like the warp and the woof of that, like the back and the
Mm,
forth of the loop. Like
mm,
it's all etched into the woman I am today,
wow.
even tragedies, even the
Yeah.
most mistakes that I've made that I, you know, that were heartbreaking,
Mhm.
loss that just about knocked me out,
Yeah.
still forged me into who I am today.
This is life. This is
This
humanity.
is
This
it.
is being human. Yes. And it's,
Yeah.
yes.
It's
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
so good to talk
Love
with
talking
you.
to you.
Thank you so much. I love this. I'm so grateful that you just were like, yeah, we're doing it. Go, let's go. You know,
Yeah,
so
because I want to keep pushing through, you know, those
me
parts of my
too.
nervous system, which are still being like, no, I'm like, yes, no,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
So, and my thing too is like I have to get braver here in Substack. Like I feel like I've got some things sitting in the draft. Like even today, I wrote that little thing about learners inherit the earth and working in a vet. You know, I just like things like that. I just have to find my place here in Substack and just be. And that I'm seeing that is such a welcomed thing. Like people are so about it. And yeah,
this is the
so
place. This is the place.
it is. It really is. I'm so
Nothing to
grateful. I don't even know who came up with this. I'm sure you know we can look him up and who he is and who they are. But
who created it.
super grateful for these people. Seriously,
And it's a great it's Substack, you know, the more I keep learning about it is so different from all the other social media platforms, and
100%.
they don't
Yeah,
make money until, you know, I don't even have a paid tier yet, you know, but
me either. I'm
yeah,
like I'm you know looking at you know getting some support with that and figuring that out did we meet through Kelly? I can't remember how we met. Did we meet through Kelly Rose?
so yeah, Julie Ciardi, I'm part of
Oh, that's right.
Ignite,
That's right. That's right.
Red
Yeah.
Rebels, and then Kelly Roach is her coach.
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So
Cool.
it's an
Cool.
amazing.
So what do you think with this? We're just going to keep the recording? Are you going to push it out there? What's your thought?
All right, I think I'm gonna end it now, and let's have a conversation about that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Sounds good.
All right,
Love
let's
this.
see.
Yeah.
End recording.